owners of Global Communications Network and the operators of this radio.
Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. I am your host, Michelle Malcolm. As always, it's a pleasure to be in your company. Thank you so much for tuning in today. You know what the drill. You know the drill. Every Wednesday, we do a health and wellness show, and today is no exception. Today being Wednesday, we are going to be talking today about the role of nutrition, and specifically, I'm calling this show, You Really Are What You Eat. You really are what you eat, because often in my work as a certified holistic health coach, I come across people who have all of these health issues, and they come to me and they say, Miss Malcolm, I need help. I've got this going on. I've got that going on. They tell me all of their health woes, and we go through the whole process of the health evaluation. And I tell them, you know, what nutritional deficiencies they are likely experiencing due to their symptoms. And then we get to the part about the diet. And I could just watch them tune right out, because they want to be well, but they don't want to take the responsibility to eat properly so that they can be well. Everybody wants a quick fix. They don't want to discipline themselves to stop pouring garbage into their bodies. And I often say to people, there is no amount of nutrition in the world that can outdo a poor diet. So if you are facing any kind of health woe, any kind of chronic non-communicable disease, any kind of comorbidity, which was a term we heard quite a bit during COVID-19, I don't care what program you decide to start. I don't care which nutritional, products you decide to take. And I just have to say that not all are created equal. But no matter what program you decide to go on, if you continue to eat the foods that are destroying your body, guess what? You're not going to get the results that you say you want to get, because there is no amount of nutrition that can outdo a poor diet. Now, I know in a show a couple of weeks ago, about 3-4 weeks ago, we did a show on the 12 bad foods. This is sort of a continuation, but breaking it down for you even deeper than just talking about the 12 bad foods that you should avoid. Because I need you to understand the role of nutrition in your body. It's not enough just to say, okay, don't eat these foods. But you have to understand why it's important that you do eat well, and why it's important that you supplement with good quality, medical grade, therapeutic nutrition. Because your body is like an intelligent healing machine. Knows what to do, is trying to do it, wants to do it, but is unable to do it in many cases because it doesn't have the building blocks. You're not giving your body what it needs by way of nutrition to do its job. And so it starts to break down, like any machine would break down if you are not following the guidelines that have been laid out by the manufacturer of that machine. Let's use a blow dryer as an example. So when you read the manual of the blow dryer, it says do not operate in water. Avoid contact with water. You decide, I'm not going to read this manual because I'm smart and I want to take a shower, but I want to take a bath, but I want to blow dry my hair at the same time. And so you sit in the tub, blow drying your hair, and then your hands are slippery, and so the blow dryer falls into the water. What's going to happen? You will be electrocuted because you're trying to operate that blow dryer outside of the parameters of the way it was designed to operate. Well, this is what we're doing to our bodies every day when we decide to pour garbage in. We're putting things into our body that are outside of the parameters of what we were intended to eat. And when that happens, your body malfunctions. It breaks down. Something breaks. It's only a matter of time. And whereas as holistic health coaches, we believe that the answer to reversing illness, non-communicable long-term illness, is nutrition, you still have to stop doing the damage. You can't expect to continue to do the damage and expect some kind of magic wand to be waved over you with the nutrition that you may or may not be taking. And I see this so many times where people come to me very sick. I actually had a client, multiple health issues. I mean, multiple health issues. And so I knew it would be an uphill climb to get her into the positive as opposed to into the negative territory that she was in. But it could be done if she would discipline herself. And every time we did a follow-up consultation, I would see a little bit of progress, but not as much as I knew I should be seeing. And I would say, okay, I'm seeing some progress, but not as much. What are you eating? What are you doing? Well, I ate piece of this and I ate piece of that. And I said, I keep telling you this. This ain't going to work. If you keep sabotaging your efforts, this is not going to work. Eventually, after a couple of months, she came back and she said, Miss Malcolm, it's not you. I want to thank you for everything you've done for me, but I just want to eat what I want to eat. And so she went back to eating what she wanted to eat. And I suspect she went back to being sick. So, as we say in the Bahamas, if you like it, let it kill you. Unfortunately, there are too many people taking that saying seriously to heart and letting food kill them because they don't want to discipline themselves to stop eating garbage. And in some cases, the challenge is limited financing. I get that because people say all the time, Miss Malcolm, it's really expensive to eat well. Well, I always say to them that may be the case, but it's more expensive to get chemotherapy. It's more expensive to get radiation treatment. It's more expensive to be on dialysis. It's more expensive, the back end, when you are sick with heart disease. It's more expensive. So I would rather find a way to pinch some pennies and do it right on the front end, as opposed to saving a couple of dollars on the front end and then having to set up a GoFundMe page for people to come help you because you find yourself in trouble on the other end. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. The fact that you are really what you eat. And I'm going to begin this show with a clip that is going to sort of set the stage for what we're going to be discussing. So that would be clip number 1.
Is it true that you are what you eat? The phrase you often hear, you are what you eat, has been a core belief in many cultures throughout history. The ancient Aztecs would eat the brain of their rivals because they believed it gave them the wisdom and knowledge of their enemies. In India, some cultures do not eat onion and garlic as they believe foods with strong odors led to aggressive and offensive behaviors. The Nordic Vikings believed that drinking the blood of a bear or wolf before battle gave them the ferocity of the animal they drank. In China, there is a high demand for tiger penis because men there believe eating it will boost libido and cure erectile dysfunction. Around the world and throughout history, we see fascinating and bizarre examples of traditions that center around the idea that you embody what you eat. Today, most of these mythical beliefs have faded away, but there is still much validity to the phrase, "You are what you eat." So what exactly does this phrase mean? Today, Health Chronicle will help explain that to us. Considering the thousands of pages of highfalutin academic and philosophical discourse written on the topic, the meaning of the phrase is pretty simple. If you eat crappy food, you're going to feel crappy. If you eat healthy food, then you will feel and look healthy. You are what you put into your body. Now let's take the crux of this "you are what you eat" message and look at it more closely, through a scientific lens. What you eat determines even the composition of your cellular membranes. That's right, all the way down to the tiniest building blocks of your entire body. Those little blocks that build your bones, your organs, your muscles, and your brain. You are what you eat. Then consider this. The average adult loses around 300 billion cells to old age every single day. How does their body replace those cells? With the food we eat, literally. That food becomes the fuel for our body's own manufacturing plant to replace cells that die. When we eat toxic, chemically laden, nutritionless food, our bodies have a hard time manufacturing new, healthy cells. It would be like giving a man a blunt hammer in the middle of a desert and asking him to build a massive castle. Or filling a race car gas tank with sand and expecting it to win. Our bodies carry out billions of functions every second with those cells. Thus, another popular phrase that our bodies are a temple. Only instead of putting clean fuel in the machine, we put in excrement and expect this machine to make a masterpiece. Though our body is infinitely intelligent and even figures out how to replace our cells to some extent despite our poor food choices, it can only improvise on the making of a masterpiece for so long before it runs out of ideas. Eventually, eating processed junk food will lead to your cells becoming processed junk. Genetically modified food equals a genetically modified you. So, drink clean water, eat more fresh vegetables, fruits, nuts, and seeds. Allow your digestive system to work as it should by reducing chronic inflammation with a better diet and consistent, moderate exercise, and you'll even be able to extract more of the good stuff out of your food. Your body will also be able to dump the bad stuff with more ease. In brief, you are what you eat. More than 300 billion cells depend on the fuel you give your body. Make sure you give it the good stuff.
So you see, this is something that goes to the cellular level. It really is very, very deep, how serious it is what you put into your body. And as that so eloquently explained a minute ago in that video, you are impacting your body's ability to function the way it was designed to function every time you eat junk food. And you would, if you listen to my show, if you follow my show a lot, you know, over the past several weeks, we've been talking about this whole biochemical reaction of why you're craving bad foods, etc. And a major part of it is for a lack of nutrition. And so I was just saying to a client yesterday that, you know, she says, what do you snack on? And I said, well, generally speaking, I snack on nuts. But here's the thing. If you give your body what it needs by way of nutrition and eating well, healthy fats, etc., and the training that we received is that you're talking 90 essential nutrients. You're talking 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 3 essential fatty acids. That's the gasoline for the car. That's what gets the cells working the way they're supposed to work. And once you're giving your body those 90 nutrients every day, then your body has no reason to crave anything. And I was saying to my client, I said, if I dash out of the house in the morning without getting a decent breakfast, if I don't take my supplements, and every now and again it happens, right? I run out of time because I'm working on too many things or whatever. I run out of time and I got to dash out, and I don't get a good breakfast with good healthy fats and good protein, etc. You could best believe that by 2:00, I am craving for something sweet or something salty or something fatty. Why? Because I didn't give my body what it needed to function. So now my body is realizing, okay, you out there working, you're doing stuff, you burning energy, but you're not giving me anything to burn this energy with. So now I got to make you go find something to eat to give me what I need to perform all of these functions. The wrongest thing to do when you're hungry is go into a food store because you can end up picking up all kinds of things that you ain't going in there to pick up. And especially the stuff that's near the counter, like the chips or the chocolate or something like that, that impulse buy. Yeah. So whenever I have like this morning for breakfast, I had an egg salad that I made with organic eggs. And I made it into a wrap with gluten-free, like a gluten-free wrap. And that will last me. I probably won't start to feel hungry again until around 5:00 because of the health of that meal, the protein in the egg, the healthy fats in the egg. And I made sure it was soft boiled because if you overboil the egg, then you adjust the fats in the egg and you want good healthy fats. So when I go home after the show, what I will do is I'll mix myself up my smoothie with my nutrition, my vitamins. I make a nice smoothie with a banana, maybe some almond milk. I dump in my liquids and my powders and that, and that will hold me until beyond dinner time. And I won't crave any of the salty or sweet or fatty foods because I would have given my body what it needed. So if you find that you are craving stuff all the time, that is a key indication that your body is telling you, hello, give me something to work with here. You're starving me. Yes, you can be starving while eating. Because if the food that you're eating has no nutrients in it, in essence, you're starving yourself. A lot of people who are obese are suffering from malnutrition. And I know in our minds, we used to think malnutrition, dying children in Africa with the extended stomach and everything else is emaciated. You could be obese and malnourished. And so you have to understand that the satisfaction of nutritional needs is mandatory to human life from conception through growth and development, and finally to the achievement of long-term survival. And the foods that we eat give our bodies the information and material that they need to function properly. And if we don't get the right information, our metabolic processes suffer and our health declines. So if you get too much food, or the food that gives our bodies the wrong instructions, then we can become overweight, we can become undernourished, and we will be at risk for the development of diseases and conditions such as arthritis, diabetes, heart disease, etc. So in short, what we eat is central to our health. And I want you to consider that in light of Webster's definition of medicine, which is the science of and art dealing with the maintenance of health and the prevention, alleviation, and cure of disease. Food should act as your medicine to maintain, prevent, and treat disease. Now, the challenge is that when we hear the word medicine, we immediately think of pharmaceuticals, going to the MD, going to the doctor, and they write a prescription for you, and you go and you get a prescription to stop the headache or or whatever issue that you're dealing with to manage the illness. But the challenge is that many doctors will tell you that during their time in medical school, nutrition was not an area of study. Most doctors will tell you that, I think the last time I checked, it was like 24 hours of education on nutrition in their entire tenure in medical school. So if you're in medical school for 6 years, 24 hours out of 6 years, you looked at nutrition. So that's not really studying anything. That's just skimming over, right? And yet, human nutrition is a science that deals with nutrients and how the body assimilates them, how it breaks them down, how it absorbs them. Is that a call for the show? Caller, welcome to GPS. Hello, caller.
Yes, good day, Michelle. How you doing?
Excellent. How are you?
I'm okay. I got a solution for at least from the obese thing and people who eat wrong, basically. How about passing a law? Make any sense?
What kind of law?
Well, I mean, like, when you go to the food store, you see people who are overweight, obese. I mean, they carry the most stuff out of the store, and when you look in the trolley, it'd be identical to what you described earlier. Junk food.
Mm-hmm.
And they eat and eat and eat, and it's like a fashion show to demonstrate how much you can carry out of the store to prove that, well, at least I'm doing good. In essence, you're really doing bad because you're not really controlling what you're putting in your body. And you're putting in your body more than it even needs, because, I mean, when you look at it, those persons don't even exercise.
Did you?
But they would.
Did you watch my series on obesity?
No, I didn't.
You need to go back and watch that. The last three Wednesdays,
Mm-hmm.
I talked about obesity, and that will answer a lot of the questions that you're bringing up right now in terms of why it's not just a personal choice. It goes beyond that, and you need to go watch those shows to get an understanding of what I'm talking about. Because when you're talking about putting a law on an obese person, then you got to put a law on the food store operator who bring it in the garbage. Because I could argue that if you didn't have the garbage there for me to buy, I couldn't buy it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but go watch that series. You'll learn a lot.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks so much for calling. So, getting back to what I was saying, that life maintenance requires food as well as water and oxygen. And food provides the energy required to support the body's life-sustaining processes and the materials required to build and maintain all body cells. You have to understand that nutrition builds. Pharmaceutical medications block. There's a big difference between the two. So they will block the process that is believed to be causing the problem. Whereas nutrition builds, it helps your body to build so that it can tackle the problem itself naturally. That's I'm being oversimplified here with the statement, but I want you to, just get what I'm trying to say here. So food provides the energy required by the body to perform its life-sustaining processes. And these materials that body uses are called nutrients, and they undergo extremely complex processes in the body, as you would have learned in that clip that played, from breakdown to release as energy, and from rebuilding cells and tissues to maintain the overall health of an individual. So these raw materials, the 60 minerals, the 16 vitamins, the 12 amino acids, the 3 essential fatty acids, these are all what the body needs to function. And without them, your body is going to start to degenerate, because that's really what disease is. It's just a degeneration of the body. So keep in mind that the manufacturer knew that your body would need certain things called nutrients in order to perform effectively. And when we don't get these nutrients in our foods, which is the way it was designed, but unfortunately, because of modern day farming techniques, because of genetically modified foods, because of depleted soils, we're not getting the nutrition through our foods anymore. And this is why it is imperative that you supplement. But not all supplements are created equal. So you hear me talk about minerals a lot. Well, minerals are found in rocks. And what a lot of the companies do that sell cheaper versions of supplements is they go out and they get the rocks and they crush them up and they say, see, minerals are made from rocks. So if you take this capsule, you get the minerals that were in the rock. Well, unfortunately, it doesn't quite work that way because your body's not designed to digest rock. So even though they crush it up, your body can't absorb anything from that. Your body can't assimilate that because it's not designed to be able to digest rocks because we aren't designed to eat rocks. Now, how does your body get the mineral from the rock? Through plants. So you plant a tree or you plant a herb or whatever. The herb sucks the minerals up out of the rock. And then we eat the herbs and we are then able to assimilate the minerals that came from the rock. So I meet people all the time who are taking supplements and not seeing any results because the supplements that they're taking were made from minerals in their raw state, as opposed to plant-derived minerals, plant-derived supplements. So not all supplements are created equal, and I wanted to throw that out there early. We have to take a quick break. When we come back on the other side, we're going to be talking about garbage in, garbage out, and we're going to look at some examples of what happens when you keep putting garbage in, what that actually does to your body. That and more on the other side of the break. Stay with us. This is GPS on Global 99.5 FM.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Youngevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rims, paint, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Trackline, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Glasses love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Youngevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun. And welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm in your company. On this Wellness Wednesday, we are talking about you are what you eat. And you're going to learn some very surprising things in this show today with regard to that. Because we really need to understand that you can't put junk in and get Ferrari performance on the other side of that. If you put junk in, you're going to get junk out. Now, as we said, nutrients in food or nutrients in supplements enable our cells and our bodies to perform the necessary functions. And I want to read a quote from a popular textbook that describes how the nutrients in food are essential for our physical functioning. It says, nutrients are the nourishing substances in food that are essential for the growth, development, and maintenance of body functions. Essential meaning that if a nutrient is not present, aspects of function and therefore human health decline. When nutrient intake does not regularly meet the nutrient needs dictated by the cell activity, the metabolic processes slow down or even stop. In other words, nutrients give our bodies instructions on how to function, and in this sense, food can be seen as a source of information for the body. So thinking about food in this way gives us a view of nutrition that goes beyond calories or grams or good foods or bad foods. But this view leads us to focus on foods that we should include rather than exclude. And I'm not saying that you should eat the foods that are bad, but there's so many more foods that are good than there are that are bad, that if we just focus on the good while eliminating the bad, then you don't feel so much like you under punishment because you're trying to eat well. So instead of viewing food as the enemy, we should be looking at food as a way to create health. We should be looking at nutrition as a way to create health and reduce disease by helping the body to maintain function. Now, a part of the problem is that we are living in a very, very fast-paced world where people have limited budgets, less time, and it doesn't leave much room for healthy eating. So much so that many children today can't even identify whole foods. There was a show that aired a couple of years ago in America, but I'm pretty sure that this is true to the Bahamas as well. In this particular show, British chef Jamie Oliver conducted an experiment as part of a show that was called Food Revolution, where he attempted to change the eating habits of an entire town that had been dubbed the unhealthiest town in America. I mean, just about everybody in this town was obese. You had diabetes, cancer, every kind of sickness you can imagine they had. And they decided to do a reality TV show to see why this was the sickest town in America and try to help them to change their habits so that they could reverse that trend. And he did receive some resistance in the beginning. People were mad at him for coming to them with this information. Now, here is a clip from that show where he went to visit an elementary school as an experiment to see if the children in this school could identify healthy whole foods. I pretty much was shocked at what I saw. Go ahead and play clip number 2.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, miss. There's loads to fix. The younger kids are really struggling, so I wanted to see if the kids even knew what fresh food looks like. Are you ready for my class?
We are ready. Welcome.
Thank you very much for letting me.
Welcome.
How old are you guys? 6. Wow. I love working with kids. Elementary school is where it's at. You know, this is where you mold kids. We're going to do a little test. Right. Who knows what this is?
Potatoes.
Potato? So you think these are potatoes? Not potatoes, though.
I don't know.
Do you know what this is? No? Who knows what tomato ketchup is? Yeah, that's what it's made out of.
Oh, tomato ketchup? I know that one.
The test I did with the kids today was shocking. Do you know what that is? Do you know what that is?
Broccoli.
What about this? A good old friend. Do you know what this is, honey?
Celery.
No. What do you think it is, darling?
Onion.
Onion, no. Immediately you get a really clear sense of, do the kids know anything about where food comes from? Who knows what that is?
A pear.
A pear, no.
A turnip.
No? Okay, I'm gonna give you the first word. Egg.
Egg salad.
The answer today was no.
For our radio audience, you couldn't see the video. These children couldn't identify a tomato. When you heard the child say, is that a potato? They were actually looking at tomatoes. They couldn't identify cauliflower. One kid guessed it was broccoli. They couldn't identify beets. They couldn't identify mushrooms. They couldn't identify potatoes. These children did not know what these whole foods look like. I was like, oh my God. I wouldn't be surprised if they do the same kind of experiment here and we get the same kind of results, because somebody told me that they had heard that Bahamian children don't know what it is to eat Bahamian food anymore because everything is, fast food. You go on a line, you get your fast food, you're good to go. So many of the traditional Bahamian dishes and fruits, they don't even know. Foreign. And we wonder why we as a nation are as sick as we are. These children couldn't identify tomatoes, y'all. It was truly shocking to watch. So we have to understand that there is a real connection between food, or should I say nutrition in food, and disease, the lack of nutrition and disease. And as a society, we are facing significant health problems because we just don't seem to understand the connection. So we continue to eat poorly, and then we are all shocked and surprised when we get sick. Many researchers now believe that these problems are very much related to diet. And while they used to believe that diseases such as type 2 diabetes or obesity, heart disease, stroke, certain cancers were all caused by gene mutations, now they're realizing that no, these conditions are very much a result of biological dysfunction, which happens because the foods that we're eating are not giving our bodies the nutrients that they need. And so our cells can't function the way that they were designed to function. And so you have to understand that there is no shortcut here. There is none. There is no amount of nutrition that can outdo a poor diet or toxins. If you're living in an environment with toxins like mold, for instance, I don't care how much nutrition you take, and eventually that mold will win. It will take your life. So nutrition is at the center. And one of my biggest problems with our whole approach to COVID was that we were just shoving this whole message of vaccine, 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 and not equally right alongside saying, eat healthier, stop eating fried food, stop eating this, eat more of that. making it possible for people to eat healthier, getting off of the gluten, which damages your gut, which is where your immune system resides. No, all we're doing is shoving a vaccine down people's throats. And truth be told, the authorities had to admit that the majority of people who died from COVID-19 had 4 to 5 comorbidities. What does that mean? 4 to 5 non-communicable long-term diseases that they had before COVID. In other words, when COVID came along, their body just couldn't take another thing and it gave way. So why did we not put more emphasis? Why are we not putting more emphasis on getting people healthier? The caller talked about making a law. You can't put a law on me because I'm obese and not put a law on the people who are important to things with keeping me obese. How about you put a law on them? So this is a multifaceted problem. And again, caller, I want you to go and watch the last 3 weeks of my Wednesday shows that broke down this whole problem of obesity and how we got here. You have to understand, people, that you really are impacting your health and the health of your family if you continue to eat poorly. And you may think you're saving money in the long run, but trust me, you're not. You're causing yourself more financial burden in the long run than in the short. Now, here is one example of that. I found a TED Talk with a lady by the name of Heather Crawford. And she and her family were not doing well. They were practically living on soft drinks and fast food. And she had spent thousands of dollars on dental bills. She was diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome. Her husband had multiple severe allergies. Her daughter was struggling in school, failing because the teacher said she couldn't complete a project. She couldn't concentrate on anything. So her grades and self-esteem were plummeting. Her son was pretty much, as she described, born sick and suffered from asthma and chronic upper respiratory conditions, multiple air infections that had led to 3 air surgeries for this boy. But he had also some major behavioral problems. He was a wild child, and she got frequent calls from the school saying that he had some major problems and they couldn't control this boy. He was just out of control. And they wanted her to have him tested for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. And as she describes it in this TED Talk, she felt like a complete failure. And then she had an aha moment regarding the link between nutrition and her family's health issues. And I want you to listen to this clip, because in this clip, she talks about what changes they saw when they decided to change their lifestyle, change the foods that they were eating. Let's go to, that would be clip number 3.
As a mom, I am passionate about growing my children to be the best that they can be, and I just couldn't fathom that medication was the way to do that. I learned that childhood obesity has more than doubled in children and quadrupled in adolescents in the past 30 years. And that food additives such as dyes are being linked to hyperactivity in children. Dr. Feingold found that the artificial colors and flavors can trigger or even exaggerate learning disabilities and behavior disorders. When I looked at the tubes of yogurt and the juice boxes and the candy that my kids were ingesting, food dyes were in all of it. And not only that, but the sugar content in these juice boxes and yogurts were just as high as the soft drinks that they were also having. I also learned that right now in America, it is very normal for children to be medicated. But this hasn't always been the case. What has changed? According to a study released in 2013 by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, food allergies among children increased approximately 50% between 1997 and 2011. The prevalence of autism in U.S. children increased from 1 in 150 in 2000 to 1 in 68 in 2010. Rates of ADHD diagnosis increased an average of 5% per year from 2003 to 2011. I found out that things were being introduced into our food system that didn't used to be there. These chemicals and genetically modified organisms are being linked to things like allergy, asthma, autism, brain problems, heart problems, and even cancer. Fast food is filled with this junk. But even things that I thought were good for my kids, like milk, was full of growth hormones and antibiotics. I was angry. I had been giving this stuff to my kids their whole life. Was I making them sick? Why didn't I know any of these things? We are being told that products are good for us when in fact they're hurting us. Fast food companies are marketing to our children things that are going to impact their health negatively for the rest of their lives. I did the only thing I knew how to do, and that was to share this information with my family. And once I had them on board, we changed the way we ate. One of the first things to go in our house was soft drinks. Before, we needed the soft drinks to wake us up and keep us going, but now we were all experiencing better sleep and sustained energy throughout the day. I was amazed at the benefits of drinking water. Feeling really encouraged with these results, we decided to no longer eat fast food. And guess what? After just 2 weeks of cooking our own food, I got a call from my son's preschool teacher with these exact words. I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it. He's been an angel. We started avoiding packaged foods as much as possible, only buying things with ingredients that we could pronounce and staying away from those artificial food dyes. My daughter was no longer getting zeros for unfinished work. My PCOS symptoms were diminishing, my husband's allergies were greatly reduced, and my son has never used his inhaler again. Change doesn't happen overnight, and it's overwhelming to try to do it all at one time, but we can all pick just one thing. Make one small change this week, like buying a different kind of milk, or drinking more water, or cooking a meal at home that you might have eaten out, or even planting a pot of tomatoes. And once this one small change becomes habit, add in another one. And you'll see that just one small change can lead to one big lifestyle change.
Really amazing stuff there. You would be surprised to know what your body can heal from if you would just make those lifestyle changes that she talked about. Many people right now are praying to the Lord for healing, and all they need is nutrition and to stop eating garbage. But they're praying for healing. I had an opportunity. My church is having a Women's Month, and they had a women's conference this past weekend, and I had an opportunity to speak to the gathering as in my capacity as a health coach. And I said, you know, one of the pet peeves that I have with the church is that we like to have these events where we feed in people the very things that are making them sick. The fried fritters, the fried fish, the fried chicken, everything fried. The macaroni and cheese, the cake, all these unhealthy foods we feed in people. And then when they come down sick, the first thing we say is, Lord, we need your divine healing. How about you stop making yourself sick to begin with? So when I went back to my seat, my pastor's wife said, boy, Michelle, they got all kind of Fridays in the back there. I guess we got to start tomorrow. But seriously, though, we got to stop. We have to stop eating garbage and then wondering why we're sick. The two are very much connected, people. There is no one without the other. You have to understand that nutrition has a dynamic role in reversing chronic disease, or the lack of nutrition is a key part of becoming chronically ill. And the understanding of the role of nutrition in health maintenance and disease prevention has advanced rapidly over the past decade. I must say that the relationship between nutritional deficiencies and chronic diseases such as cardiovascular disease or cancer, especially breast and prostate cancer, has come under close scrutiny over the past several years, thanks in part to the World Wide Web, where people are enabled to go and do, people like Heather Crawford, do your own research, educate yourself about what you need to do to improve your health. And this has led to a movement called restorative medicine. And we see a lot of medical doctors now, well, I shouldn't say a lot, some medical doctors now are embracing this movement of restorative medicine, where they are learning more about the role of nutrition as it relates to reversing some of these diseases. But unfortunately, there's still a lot of doctors who do not subscribe to this. It still hasn't caught on with a lot of people, a lot of medical doctors, and they will tell their patients, "Oh, that can't help you," referring to nutrition. I've had that situation with people who come to me. I tell them, based on your symptoms, this is what your body is telling you. This is the nutrition that you need, and they would take it back to their doctor, and their doctor say, "That can't help you." And I'm thinking to myself, wow. And some people listen to that doctor and suffer as a result because of either arrogance or a lack of knowledge, or a combination of both, because they refuse to take a closer look at the impact of nutrition. And, they have done an amazing job, a PR, amazing job at positioning themselves to be the expert, the authority, because I find that if somebody is really, really, really suffering from major nutritional deficiencies and you have to recommend a lot of nutrition for them, some people will come back and say, "But there's so much. You want me to take all of this?" But they ain't got no problem taking them 6 and 7 different medications what the doctor got them on. Synthetic pharmaceuticals. If the doctor tells them take 12 different pills, they taking them. But yet when you try to get them to take nutrition, they are afraid of nutrition. How have we come to this place where you are not afraid or concerned about taking all of these chemicals into your body that is clearly affecting your system, like your liver, for instance? I know some people 6, 7 different medications, and then they got to take a medication to deal with the side effects of all the medications they've been taking. But they scared of nutrition. To me, that don't make no sense. But that is where we have come to. And so in this show, I want to talk about the role of different minerals and vitamins, etc., to help you to understand what happens to the body when your body is able to assimilate these nutrients, how it affects your body's ability to function. And on the other side of the break, we're going to take a look at an example from a medical doctor, I believe, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong, but anyway, there will be someone giving an example of what happens. Yes, it is a doctor, Dr. Rangan Chatterjee. I'm not sure if that I'm pronouncing his name right, but he discovered restorative medicine and is now a believer, and we're going to hear from him on the other side of the break. So stay with us. This is GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. We'll be back after these words.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Youngevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Youngevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc plus immune support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Trackline, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Glasses love.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z-Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z-Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z-Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
And welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here. We are talking on this Wellness Wednesday about you really are what you eat. From a cellular level, what you put into your mouth is affecting your body's ability to function. And so if you are not giving your body the nutrients it needs, I can tell you your future. You're going to be sick if you aren't already. So the telephone numbers to call if you have a question, 326-0271, 326-0271, 326-0271, or 326-0272, 326-0272. And our WhatsApp line to send us a message, not call, 824-9952, 824-9952 is the WhatsApp number to call. So we're talking about the impact of nutrition on disease. There's no doubt that nutrition eradicates chronic disease, and yet many doctors choose to dismiss this information in favor of synthetic pharmaceuticals. Why that is? I got my theory, but we ain't going there today. That's another show. Dr. Rangan Chatterjee, I hope I pronounced that right, stumbled across this information when his own child became ill, and he realized that his medical training did not equip him to help his child recover. Now, that is enough to give you a wake-up call. This discovery set him on a new path to restorative medicine.
I can make diseases disappear. To be more precise, I can make chronic diseases disappear. You see, chronic diseases are the long-term conditions like type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, depression, or even dementia. You see, the reason I can make diseases disappear is because diseases are just an illusion. Diseases are not real. In fact, diseases don't really exist. At least not in the way that we think they do. So 15 years ago, I qualified for medical school, and I was ready. I was full of enthusiasm, full of passion, ready to go out and help people. But I always felt that there was something missing. I started off as a specialist. I moved from being a specialist to becoming a generalist or a GP. And I always got this nagging sense that I was just managing disease or simply suppressing people's symptoms. And then, just 5.5 years ago, came the turning point for me. You see, 5.5 years ago, my son nearly died. My wife and I, we were on holiday in France, and with a little baby boy, and she called out to me, said he's not moving. So I rushed there, and he was lifeless. I thought he was choking. So I picked him up, I tried to clear his airway. Nothing happened, and I froze. See, she called out to me, my wife said, come on, we've got to get to hospital. So we rushed there, and we were worried because when we got there, he still wasn't moving. The doctors were worried because they didn't know what was happening. That night, he had 2 lumbar punctures because they thought he might have meningitis. And he stayed in a foreign hospital for 3 days. And what actually transpired was my son had a low level of calcium in his blood that was caused by a low level of vitamin D. My son nearly died from a preventable vitamin deficiency, and his father, a doctor, knew nothing about it. You see, as a parent, that is a harrowing experience. That never leaves you. But I was a doctor, I was his dad, and the guilt that stayed with me and is still here today, that changes you. So I started reading. I started reading about this vitamin deficiency. And as I started reading, I started to learn a lot of science that I did not learn at medical school. A lot of science that I thought, hey, this makes a lot of sense to me. So I started applying this science. I started applying it, first of all, with my son, and I saw the amazing benefits. So then I started applying it with my patients. And do you know what happened? People started getting better. Really better. You see, I learned how to resolve the root cause of their problems rather than simply suppressing their symptoms. Many people say that type 2 diabetes is a blood sugar problem. But they're missing the point. There is a problem with blood sugar in type 2 diabetes. But type 2 diabetes is not a blood sugar problem. The blood sugar is the symptom, it's not the cause. If we only treat symptoms, we'll never get rid of the disease. What about Alzheimer's disease? It's a heart-wrenching condition. And we, the doctors, we're scrambling around, aren't we, trying to find the cure? Well, there's a professor in San Francisco, Professor Bredesen, who's actually demonstrating that you can cure dementia. He's shown that you can reverse cognitive decline in his patients with dementia. And how is he doing that? Well, one thing he's not doing is he's not saying, well, all these patients in my office have got dementia, Alzheimer's disease. What is the cure? No, he's going the other way. He's saying, with all these patients, let's say 10 patients in my office, he's trying to work out what have been the triggers for the last 20 years that have ended up with this patient expressing themselves as dementia. And he identifies them and he corrects every single one of them. And when he does that, guess what's happening? They are reversing their symptoms. They are no longer being classified as having dementia. It's a brand new way of looking at disease.
But there's this gentleman by the name of Dr. Joel Wallach, 82 years young today, who been saying that. That doctor reminded me of Columbus. He pull up on us and say, oh, I've discovered America. Dude, he was here before you reach. So, yeah, Dr. Wallach been saying this for decades. Now, who's Dr. Joel Wallach? You see the Youngevity commercials. You hear me talk often about the 90 essential nutrients. Dr. Joel Wallach is a person who founded the company Youngevity 25 years ago. And what he discovered as a boy, I think he first started having these symptoms at the age of 4. And the symptoms were that he would make these uncontrollable grunting noises like a pig. He had these weird facial twitches that he couldn't couldn't, facial twitches and tics. And it was just really strange. And keep in mind, he's 82 years old. So that could tell you how long ago that was when he was 4 years old. That's a long time ago, when they didn't have the knowledge that they have now. So they didn't know what was wrong with this boy. They took him from doctor to doctor to doctor to doctor to doctor. None of them could figure out what was wrong with him. So finally, they were going to institutionalize him because they figured it must be a mental problem. So at 9 years old, he says to himself, now, you know something? I better go figure out what's wrong with me before these people lock me away. So he goes to school the next day, goes to the library, finds the nurse's manual, and he starts searching through it. And he was looking for tics. He couldn't find anything on that. So he looked for cramps, because he used to get these weird facial cramps. And under cramps, he saw where it says that cramps are a result of a deficiency of calcium. So as a boy growing up on the farm, one of his responsibilities was he had to feed the animals every morning before he went to school. And he remembered reading on the animal alfalfa pellet package that it was enriched with vitamins and minerals. And he specifically remembered saying calcium. So he decided the next morning that he would throw his Cheerios out to the chickens, and he started eating the animal food enriched with vitamins, including calcium. And like he said, his mother tried to stop him, and his father was like, well, let him try it. What has he got to lose? Apparently what was wrong with him, we now today call Tourette's syndrome. They didn't have a name for it back then. For 5 years, his Tourette's syndrome was progressively getting worse and worse and worse. After 3 days of eating the calcium-enriched alfalfa pellets, the Tourette syndrome was gone. All the boy needed was nutrition. And he often tells a story, a funny story. He says, as farmers, they had to figure out a way to keep their animals healthy, because farmers can't afford medical insurance for their farm animals. He always jokes and says, otherwise your burger would cost you $100, right? And many animals come down with many diseases that humans did. So they had to figure out a way to heal these diseases in the animals. And what they started doing was enriching the animal food with vitamins and minerals. And these animals started to become healthier. They reversed disease. So he said, he asked his dad one day, well, if this is working for the animals, why aren't we doing it for us? His father's response, boy, shut up and eat your peas. And so that was the end of that conversation. But as a boy, he decided, especially after healing himself strictly with nutrition, that he would dedicate his life to understanding the connection between a lack of nutrition and disease. And that is exactly what he has done. Even at the age of 82 today, he is traveling around the world lecturing on the benefits of nutrition. And many of the things that they're just now discovering, Doc Wallach been saying for decades. They call him a snake oil salesman. They call him a quack. They call him everything but a child of God. Dr. Joel Wallach has successfully sued the FDA 12 times to give people the right to understand the connection between things like selenium and cancer. Selenium is a thing that will naturally kill cancer. He had to fight the FDA in court to have the right to say that. He has won 12 cases against the FDA just to be able to get knowledge to people about how important nutrition is to reversing chronic diseases. So I say all that to say that we have to take some serious responsibility, as he did at the age of 9, for our own health. Because unfortunately, too many doctors have not come to the realization yet that the doctor in that clip came to. Too many doctors are still not embracing restorative medicine. I have a client right now who is on dialysis. Somebody told her, you need to talk to Ms. Malcolm. So she reached out to me. And Dr. Wallach has a very specific protocol to get people off of dialysis to reverse the problem of kidney failure. Because as he often describes, kidney failure, a part of the problem is that the arteries, those little microscopic arteries that take the dirty blood to the kidneys, are so clogged from all the bad foods you've been eating, all the fried chicken and the fried fish and the fried fritter and fry, all that clogging up your arteries. All oils. Remember I said in the show before, all oils need to be avoided. So your arteries are clogged. Then you're eating inflammatory foods, which are constricting your arteries even more. And so the dirty blood can't get to the kidney for the kidney to do its job. And so the kidney stops functioning. And so what do they say? Oh, the kidney isn't working anymore, so you need a new kidney. No, you need to open up the arteries that lead to the kidney so the kidney can do its job. So Dr. Wallach came up with a very specific protocol to do just that. This young lady called me. After the first week on the protocol, and we never tell people to cold turkey stop taking your medicine. So I would have never told her to stop dialysis. That would be crazy. Okay. We give you the nutrition in conjunction with what you have going on from your medical doctor, and let the medical doctor be the one to take you off of the pharmaceutical, which they will have to do eventually because your body's going to start functioning. So this young lady in particular, the first week on the program, she called me up. She says, Miss Malcolm, I'm feeling a weird sensation in my back. I said, describe it. She said, it feels like this pulsing sensation. I say, you mean like if you put your fingers on your neck and you feel a pulse? She said, yeah, something like that. I said, well, that tells me that your arteries are starting to unclog. And that's why you're getting that pulsating sensation, because imagine now it's been clogged and then it gets a little hole and then a bigger hole and stuff starts to go through there. You're going to feel a pulse there. So she said, okay. By the second week, she calls me. She says, Miss Malcolm, I'm urinating. She's now urinating, which she wasn't doing before. She says, I can't stop going. I'm urinating. I said, that's a good thing. By the third week, she comes to me. She says, the doctors tell me I'm now at my dry weight. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with kidney disease and dialysis, dry weight means, okay, for a person who's not having kidney issues, when you go to the bathroom and you urinate, you let all the water out, they say you're at your dry weight. This is difficult for people who have kidney failure because they're always retaining, what they should be letting out naturally. So by the third week, she calls me up and she says the doctor told her that she's at her dry weight. The fourth week, she called me up and she says, they did a test on my blood. My blood test just came back. I said, and? She said, my doctor told me, whatever you are doing, keep doing. That's how good her blood work looked. If this young lady stays on this program, all nutrition and cutting out the bad foods, because this whole show is about you are what you eat, she's going to eventually come off of that dialysis. She won't need it because her kidneys will be functioning the way they were designed to function. Why? Because number one, she's given her body the nutrition that it needs to function. And number two, she's not putting the garbage in that is stopping it from functioning. Strictly nutrition. How many people do we know are on dialysis, are waiting for a kidney transplant, when all they really need is nutrition to unclog those arteries, stop eating the garbage, and your body will heal itself? Again, one of my biggest frustrations is that you have doctors who will actually tell people, who have actually told kidney patients, that ain't gonna work. It's very sad. Oh, don't feel that. That ain't work. Anyway, let me stay focused. So, nutrients are classified into 6 major groups: proteins, carbohydrates, fats, vitamins, minerals, and water. Carbohydrates, fats, and proteins are considered the energy yielding and tissue building macronutrients. Macro means big. While vitamins and minerals are classified as micronutrients, small. And in order for the macronutrients to work to their optimum, you need micronutrients. You need them both. So carbohydrates contain carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen in combination to form small molecules such as monosaccharides. I'm not sure I pronounced that right. Monosaccharides, and or sugars, and large polysaccharides such as starch. And lipids comprising fats and oils also contain carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, but the proportion of oxygen is much less than that found in carbohydrates. Food fats occur mainly in the form of triglycerides, a compound consisting of fatty acids that have been esterified to a glycerol base. I hope I pronounced that word right. And it is stored in the tissues of the body and releases free fatty acids into the circulation when hydrolyzed by enzymes. Proteins comprise of chains of amino acids linked together to form high molecular weight compounds. And in addition to carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, they also contain nitrogen and sometimes sulfur. Specific amino acids are linked in a specific sequence to form peptide chains that are further linked to form specific proteins. Now, the idea is that once you consume these proteins, the amino acids, the chain is supposed to break apart, freeing the amino acids so that they can easily be absorbed through your intestines into your bloodstream. They go through the bloodstream, throughout the body, they get into the cells, they do what they're supposed to do. Now, you've heard me talk repeatedly about gluten. The problem with gluten is that it is practically impossible to break the chain apart through digestion. And so when we eat these daisy-chained amino acids that can't be broken apart, and that's rumbling through your digestive system, trying to be digested, and it can't because of its chained together, and they haven't broken apart, they haven't been freed, this causes damage in your digestive system. It causes damage to your digestive system. And you may not have celiac disease, but you may have something unawares called leaky gut. Leaky gut syndrome, the challenge is as those undigested amino acids are rumbling through your digestive system trying to digest, it's damaging the villi, which are the little like finger-looking things that are on top of your epithelial cells. The epithelial cells are what are supposed to absorb the nutrients from your intestines into your bloodstream to take it to the cells to do the work. Now, the challenge is that when you continuously are damaging the villi with this rumble and stuff coming through your system, or inflammatory foods or toxins, the villi start to shrink. Now, we are all born with billions of villi. If you look into our digestive tract, it's supposed to look like a shaggy rug, billions upon billions of villi. But every single time we eat certain foods like gluten, it's damaging the villi to the point where they shrink. And after a while, instead of looking like a shaggy rug, your digestive tract looks like a plain, a clear tube, like a plastic tube with no villi. So what is the job of the villi? To absorb the nutrients into the epithelial cell, which then takes it into the bloodstream. So if you are destroying your villi, you are destroying your body's ability to absorb these nutrients. Not only that, but you've made yourself a victim twice, because what happens is once the villi is damaged sufficiently, your epithelial cells, which are supposed to be this tight junction that nothing gets between them except what they absorb into themselves, those tight junctions start to loosen up and things start seeping through that space into your bloodstream that aren't supposed to be there. Things like toxins, things like certain food particles, pathogens are now getting into your bloodstream. When your immune system sees that foreign substance in your bloodstream, it does what it was designed to do. It interprets it as a enemy that needs to be destroyed, an alien invader, and it rounds up the troops and it goes to war. That war is manifested in your body in things like autoimmune disease, because the body in essence is attacking itself. So the next thing you know, you have thyroid malfunction, you have rheumatoid arthritis, you have lupus. It could affect your skin. So you have rosacea, acne, eczema. It could affect your joints, your bones and joints. You're walking around with joint pain all the time. You thinking it's just, oh, I just got a touch of arthritis. No, you got a touch of eating too much gluten, which damage your gut to the point where things get into your bloodstream that ain't supposed to be there. And it just amazes me because people want so bad to hold on to gluten, like gluten got taste. How many people you see just go get a bag of flour and just start eating the plain flour? Gluten don't have no taste. So I don't understand why people are so resistant to give it up. All gluten does, it's glue. It holds stuff together. But there are other ways that you can enjoy foods that are gluten-free without feeling deprived. So instead of making your bread with a regular flour, get gluten-free flour. People act like gluten have taste. Gluten has absolutely no taste. So I don't understand why people are so reluctant to give it up. This is one of the hardest things I fight with my clients over. That and fried foods. Because they figure they're going to die if they cut gluten out of their diet. And I'm saying all the time, well, it's your choice. If you want to keep eating that, I hope it tastes good enough for it to be worth your lupus. I hope it tastes good enough for it to be worth your cancer, your heart disease, your diabetes. Nothing tastes that good. And so we have to realize, people, that we got to stop eating the bad foods. And some of the bad foods you don't even know are bad because you were misled to believe that they're good. Wheat, barley, rye, and oats. Bad foods. And oats is another one. Well, what if it's steel cut? Stop eating bad foods that are destroying your body, then wondering why you sick. It don't take a genius to figure it out. You can't keep eating the bad stuff. You are what you eat. Garbage in, garbage out. So I want to encourage you to man up, woman up, and make a decision for your own health's sake that you will no longer continue to eat these foods that are destroying your body, then acting all shock and surprise when you get sick. Another thing, Bayman like to say, oh, this doctor trying to put diabetes on me. Doctor ain't put nothing on you. You put that on yourself. Stop blaming the doctor for your own bad habits. Doctor ain't had nothing to do with that. When you wouldn't stop eating garbage. Doctor wasn't there when you wouldn't stop eating garbage. So why are you blaming the doctor for putting this on you when you work so hard to put that on yourself? We have to stop, people. There is no good reason for this country to be as sick as it is. We have to stop. We have to stop. So, vitamins are organic compounds which function as coenzymes in a number of enzymatic reactions involved in the production of energy and in the building of cells necessary for the maintenance of body tissues. And minerals are inorganic elements that serve as indispensable function, to serve an indispensable function in enzymatic reactions involved in energy production and tissue building, and they also serve as structural components of bone and other tissues. Water is not only vital to the body as a transport medium for all nutrients and waste, but it's also the medium in which all vital metabolic reactions in the body occur. You have to drink good, clean water. It is also an essential starting product of many biochemical reactions in the body involved in energy production and tissue building. It's vital that you drink good, clean water. So we're going to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we are going to talk about the physiological role of nutrients. Remember now, I keep saying you need 90 essential nutrients, 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 3 essential fatty acids. We are going to talk about the role of those nutrients in the body on the other side of the break. So stay with us. This is GPS on Global 99.5 FM on a Wellness Wednesday. Today we're talking, you definitely are what you eat.
Are you a Bahamian student conducting innovative research in economics, finance, or business that could change the future of the Bahamas? Is your completed work fit for publication? You could win $20,000 from the T. Baswell Donaldson Research Prize for unpublished papers that adhere to academic standards of formatting and presentation. Submission deadline is April 30th, 2022. For more information, email exr@centralbankbahamas.com or kademerit@centralbankbahamas.com.
Wants you to celebrate their anniversary.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Youngevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rims, paint, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Glasses love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Youngevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun. A huge shout out to Byron Coley Austin and the team at the Tiki Bikini Hut on Junkanoo Beach. I love you guys so much. The food there is amazing. And it's in a great atmosphere, family friendly, right on the beach, right across the street from the police station. And it's a really great, fun place to be. Listen, they make you feel right at home. The minute you walk through the door, the Junkanoo, the cowbells lick off, and they say, welcome, so-and-so. And it's a really cool place to hang out and get yourself a nice, cool drink and some amazing food. So definitely go and check them out at the Tiki Bikini Hut on Junkanoo Beach. Let them know that you heard about them on GPS. And they are going to take very good care of you. So today is Wellness Wednesday, and we are talking about you are what you eat. The relationship between nutrition and disease, or should I say the lack of nutrition and disease. Our telephone lines to call, 326-0271, 326-0271, 326-0271, or 326-0272, 326-0272, 326-0272, and our WhatsApp line, if you'd like to send us a message, 824-9952. Let me just make sure you only send me no message what I ignore. Again, the number, 824-9952. Somebody sent me a message saying, very good show. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Glad you're enjoying it. And another person sent a message, says, my wife and I just recently got an air fryer. We were amazed at how much fat was sitting at the bottom of the pan when we fried chicken with it for the first time. Yeah, chicken can be very fatty. But again, I save that fat. I don't throw it away. That's what I use instead of oil. Because as you would have learned on the show that I did about good foods, bad foods, oil is bad. All oils. Because they become oxidized. Once they're sitting in that container, the oxygen in that container oxidizes the oil. And when you introduce an oxidized substance into your body, it causes systematic inflammation. And inflammation is bad because it leads to those restricted arteries. Listen, just avoid the oil, okay? But I use the rendered chicken fat. And much healthier for you. Or lard that our grandparents used to use back in the day. Not Crisco. Crisco is not lard, but real lard. Somebody told me that they found some in one of those food stores on the Cable Beach Strip. I got to go look for that because it ain't easy to find anymore. But the same lard that our grandparents used to cook with, that is what is preferred. So we're talking now about the physiological role of nutrients. In order to achieve maximum genetic potential in the human life cycle, optimal nutritional needs must be satisfied. So the three physiological components required by the human body to survive and remain healthy are energy to do its work, building materials to maintain its form and function, and control agents to regulate these processes. The foods that we eat contain both macronutrients, which comprise the carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, and micronutrients, which comprise of the vitamins and the minerals. Now, you've heard me say time and time again that we need to supplement because we can't get the micronutrients that our bodies need anymore sufficiently in sufficient quantities from our food. Fats yield twice the energy level of carbohydrates when metabolized and therefore supply a concentrated fuel source for body energy. So, in other words, you need healthy fats in your diet. If you try to eat a completely fat-free diet, you would not do very well. You would become ill because your body needs healthy fats. And there are many great sources of healthy fats. Eggs, great source of healthy fats. Avocados, nuts, great source of healthy fats. So there are a lot of wonderful sources that you can find healthy fats out there. Fish oils. And I know I just said that oils are bad because fish oils aren't really oil. They're sort of fish fat, if you want to call it that. But omega-3, 6, and 9, fish oils are really very, like when I was growing up, my mother used to make us drink a cup of cerasee every morning and a tablespoon of cod liver oil. I hated that. But we weren't sick as children. We were very healthy. Every morning before we go to school, a cup of cerasee and a tablespoon of cod liver oil. Those healthy fats and those in the fish oils help to keep us healthy. So fats are a very important part of your diet, but not just any fat. Not all fats are healthy. And you want specifically the healthy fats. This is especially important because excess carbohydrates, not utilized as a primary energy source, are easily converted to fat by the body and stored in fat storage or fat cells. And so although fat from animal sources, some people question whether or not they have a role in heart disease, it's important to remember that you have to find healthy sources of fat. Okay, some people go completely vegan or completely vegetarian, and that's fine. But I say that especially to people who do not eat any animal protein, that you definitely need to make sure you are supplementing adequately, because it's really impossible to get all of the vitamins and nutrients that you need from food alone. And a lot of people who are only eating vegetables, whereby they're healthy in many ways, still end up coming down sometimes with chronic ailments because they're not getting adequate nutrition from that diet alone. So supplementation is really key. You really have to supplement nowadays. They didn't have to do it so much when our grandparents were around because the foods that they were growing were more nutrient rich. The soils were rich with nutrients, with minerals. And so the foods that they were eating from those soils, much more nutrition. Nowadays, you hard pressed to find foods, particularly in the food stores, that are not genetically modified, which have zero nutrition, very little nutrition in them. And so your body is not getting the nutrition that it needs. And this is why our bodies are breaking down so much faster. They say that this will be the generation parents will be burying their children because their children are coming down with these chronic non-communicable diseases that back in the day only old people used to get. Why? Because of this lack of nutrition, because of the poor foods that they are eating. And unfortunately, many of us are sick and dying, not because of our color, but because of our culture, because you are teaching your children the same bad habits that got you in trouble. You are passing on to your children. So it's not so much that this particular disease runs in your family as it is bad habits are running in your family. You're passing it on from generation to generation. And as we would have learned in one of the earlier clips from the doctor, disease is a myth. It's really just the body degenerating, which can be reversed with nutrition. So protein metabolism and amino acids are the basic building units. And proteins are considered among the most important compounds in the animal organism. Proteins are very, very important. Actually, your body is mostly protein, and your immune system especially is mostly protein. So you need protein. You need good, healthy protein. I shouldn't say mostly protein in the body, but a large part of your body is protein. But definitely your immune system is mostly protein. Because I said that, I corrected myself because, water is also, you're more water than anything else. But protein is right up there. And so you have to understand that it is important that you are ensuring that your diet has good, healthy proteins in it. And for those of you who are vegetarian or vegan, you can find protein in plant sources as well. So you don't have to eat meat to get protein. But if you are not, if you are a person who doesn't have a problem with eating meat, then just make sure it's good, clean, lean meat that is natural, not grown naturally, and not, force fed with growth hormones, etc. We have to be so careful nowadays because so many things, because they try to get the stuff out fast, they pumping it up with all kinds of chemicals and growth hormones and to make it grow bigger and faster. But it doesn't just disappear. And when you eat that, you eating the same thing, what they ate. So we have to be so careful with the sources of the food that we eat to make sure that we are getting truly organic foods that have been allowed to grow and eat the right things as God designed for them to grow. Essential and non-essential amino acids. There are 22 known amino acids in existence, and 10 of these are considered essential because the body cannot synthesize them. And so you have to introduce them to the body. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good afternoon, Michelle. How you doing?
Excellent. How are you today?
Michelle, I really love your show. I wish it's the way that you could get on. I mean, a lot of people listen to you, but the national way with the message, the health message that you'll be given, it's very, 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 very good.
Thank you.
And, some of the programs that come on, when these health folks come on, they start talking about medication. Oh, you will have to be on that for the rest of your life. They taking some for high blood pressure, cholesterol, all kinds of different problems. And if it don't work, we have to up the doses, or we have to change the name brand and give you something else. And the same time, it's messing your kidney, your liver, and everything. In 2020, I do running. I got knocked down, and I was in so much pain. I was only getting like 3 hours sleep a night. I had to sleep on a wedge. I had to crawl to the bed on my stomach, and I got some medication from the doctor, but I started reading all the side effects and all that. Then I started doing some of the research and found out that the moringa, it helps with inflammation, with pain. And I started taking that, and only about maybe 3-4 tablets I took out of that medication because my pain started to subside after maybe for 2-3 days when I started taking that moringa. It really helped me with my pain. And a lot of these doctors, you go to them, they'll never mention nutrition or anything like that. Oh, you need the green pill, you need the yellow pill, you need the brown pill. This will help you. But if it doesn't work, okay, we have to change the doses then. And that's the sad thing that is happening in our country today. And talking about protein, like I said, I do a lot of running, marathon and everything. And my protein, it all comes from plant-based beans and stuff like that, chia seeds and all of that stuff. That's what I use for my protein. And I always tell people, check the elephant, check the buffalo, check the rhinoceros. They don't eat meat, right? But they're one of the most strongest animals in the jungle. And so you could get all your plant-based, your protein from plant-based, if you so desire. And because the meat, like you said, the meat we're eating today is not like yesterday.
Right.
Because the growth hormones and the things that they put in these meat, they go around to the different farms and stuff, and they get all the animals, they pick up all the dead animals off the ground and with the tag still on all the rotten meat, and they put in these big vac machines and they make meat, they grind it up, and that's what they be feeding the animals today, and what you getting. I tell people you don't eat meat or mutton, if you can get it from Long Island that's still grazing the grass naturally.
Yes.
You can do that, because the Bible said he caused the grass to grow for the cattle and herb for the service of mankind.
Exactly.
So God gave us everything here on this earth, the plant-based and everything to service the body. Because we made from the ground, so we need all the minerals and everything that naturally comes from the ground, and the fruits and the vegetables, which is so important. So, Michelle, continue to keep up the work.
Thank
Don't
you.
stop.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you calling. Yeah, it is possible to get all your protein from plants. But like I said, just make sure that you're getting adequate nutrition, the 90 nutrients all together. And I agree with you 1,000%. You got to know where you get enough the meat from if you are a meat eater, because they do put a lot of garbage in what they're feeding these animals. And when you eat it, you eat that. So you got to be so careful with that. So protein, let's talk about protein for a minute. So 75% of the dry matter of most tissues in your body are protein. And so it is the basic fundamental structural material of every living cell in the body, including muscles, internal organs, brains, nerves, skin, hair, nails, etc. Protein is also a vital part of the regulatory substance that comprises the enzymes, hormones, and blood plasma. So all of these tissues and regulatory substances must be in a continuous state of maintenance by repairing damaged components. And it is the primary function of proteins to meet the body's growth and development needs in early life and to maintain tissue health in adult years by repairing, wasting, or damaging tissues. So I guess I'm going to have to do this as a part of a series because there's so much more information I wanted to share with you. But I want to play one more clip because we look at what is happening in our country with all of the violence and all of the mental challenges that we're having. It seems to be on the rise. And I don't know whether or not the powers that be have given any thought to the potential connection between the poor diet of, generally speaking, the people of the Bahamas and what we see happening with mental decline. But there is definitely a connection between the two, as you will hear in this clip.
Internationally, there's been a 3-fold increase in ADHD, a 20-fold increase in autism, and a 40-fold increase in bipolar disorder in children. And the rates of mental illness are on the rise. So how are we dealing with this problem? Currently, our healthcare system operates within a medical model. Now, this means that you would typically be offered psychiatric medications first, followed by psychological therapies and other forms of support. Our reliance on medications as a frontline form of treatment is evident from the increasing rates of prescriptions. Given that this medical model is fairly universal across all Western societies, you would rightfully expect that it was working well. And indeed, in some cases, these treatments save lives. And I'm not here to dismiss it altogether. However, if a treatment is truly effective, then shouldn't the rates of disorder and disability as a direct consequence of that illness be decreasing rather than increasing? In 2009, I received some funding to run a randomized placebo-controlled trial using minerals and vitamins, also known collectively as micronutrients, for the treatment of ADHD in adults. And this study was published in the British Journal of Psychiatry in April of this year, and here's what we found. Within just an 8-week period, twice as many people responded in the micronutrient group compared to placebo. Twice as many people went into remission in their depression in the micronutrient group. Hyperactivity and impulsivity reduced into the normal non-clinical range. And those who were taking the micronutrients were more likely to report that their ADHD symptoms were less impairing and less interfering than in their work and social relationships than people who were on the placebo. And 1 year later, those people who stayed on the micronutrients maintained their changes or showed further improvement, and those who were who switched to medications or stopped the micronutrients actually showed a worsening of their symptoms. Now, I need to tell you something here, and that is when I say micronutrients, I'm actually referring to a dose higher than what you'd get out of a vitamin pill purchased in the supermarket. In this study, we gave participants up to 15 pills a day with 36 nutrients. So it would be unlikely that if you went and got an over-the-counter supplement, you would unlikely see these positive benefits, both because the dose is lower and the breadth of nutrients is lower. To me, the message is clear that a well-nourished body and brain is better able to withstand ongoing stress and recover from illness. Giving micronutrients in appropriate doses can be an effective and inexpensive public health intervention to improve the mental health of a population following an environmental catastrophe. In my 20-year career, I have rarely seen these dramatic responses from conventional treatments. When people get well, they get well across the board, not only in the symptoms that we treated, but also in other areas like improved sleep, stabilization of mood, reduction in anxiety, and the reduction in need for cigarettes, cannabis, and alcohol. My research and those around the world have shown that 60 to 80% of people respond to micronutrients, showing just how powerful this intervention is. And internationally, there have now been 20 randomized placebo-controlled trials. This is the gold standard that we use to make clinical decisions, showing that we can reduce aggression in prisoners, slow cognitive decline in the elderly, treat depression, anxiety, stress, autism, and ADHD. And they might even be more cost-effective than current conventional treatments. This study here documented the treatment of a 10-year-old boy with psychosis. When his 6-month inpatient treatment with medications was unsuccessful, he was treated with micronutrients. Not only did the micronutrients completely eliminate his hallucinations and delusions, changes that were maintained 6 years later, but the cost of the treatment was less than 2% than the cost of the unsuccessful inpatient treatment. The cost savings alone make it imperative that our society pay attention to the wider benefits of this approach.
So what would our society look like if we started ensuring that all of our prisoners were receiving good nutrition? What would our society look like if we ensured that in the morning when our children go to school, we ensure that they have a hot meal and they get some nutrition on top of that? What would our society look like if we got all of the people who are battling a non-communicable disease like kidney failure, like hypertension, like diabetes, I could go on a national program, not a national health insurance program, which is fine, but alongside that national health insurance program, a program where we put them on adequate nutrition. What would our society look like if we were able to get adequate nutrition over the hill to a lot of these young men and women who are displaying so much aggression? And don't get me wrong, I don't believe for 1 second that we live in a vacuum where all you have to do is give a person nutrition and ignore all the other social ills that we're experiencing. I'm not suggesting that. But what I am suggesting, as you would have just heard in that clip, what I am suggesting is that there is a direct link between your nutrition and your mental state. And I'm not discounting other conditions that are, very real that have to be dealt with. But generally speaking, what would our society look like if we made that a priority? I'm going to let you marinate on that question until next week. I think I'll do a part 2 of this because there's a lot of information that we didn't get to that I wanted to cover in terms of micronutrients and what they are and how they work. Somebody sent a question about what are the vitamins and minerals that you need. Listen, you need 90. So send us a message to 824-9952 and just put in there 90 or 805-6430. Just put in the message 90 and we will know to reach out to you to give you more information. Because if you had to go into the food store and buy all these 90 nutrients individually, you'd have to take your land papers in there. But we have a system that gives you all 90 nutrients in 3 products. month supply, and you're good. That's the starting point. That's the foundation. And that's the first place where we start when we're dealing with clients. So that's my time, y'all. Big thank you to all of you who tuned in and or called or simply listened, sent a message on Facebook. Thank you so much for being a part of the show today. Like and share this show. Let everybody know what we were talking about today. Have them go back to the Facebook page, my official Michelle Malcolm Facebook page, or the Global 99.5 Facebook page to learn more about this by watching the show. It will be there for you to watch. Thanks so much for joining us. That's my time. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. It's going to be hot tomorrow. That's all I can say. Don't miss that show. People going to be talking about that for a little while. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests and not necessarily the opinions of the owners of Global Communications Network and the operators of this radio station.
This is 99.5 Global FM.